They can still keep
Yeah.
up with these guys.
Yeah, there is. Like, iron sharpens iron, isn't it? It doesn't matter what the sport is. You get competitive people in a room together, and the standard just instantly rises. Like if you go out on your own every day and you have that day where you feel tired, well, you just kind of ease back a bit. If you go up there and you're feeling tired, but you know all these guys are going to give 100%, well, you have no choice. Like you don't want to lose face. You have to just go to that place. Don't you? That's just the way it is. And you just get any competitive people. It doesn't matter what they're playing, cards, tiddlywinks. It doesn't matter. If you put a load of competitive people together, they're going to push each other.
And it's fantastic. All the runs and stuff, and the mountain running, and you're a high level. Just before I segue into the different sport you went next, before you into high rocks. Last year I was on the way down to Cork doing the marathon, and my goal at the time was to do 100 miles in 24 hours. But I wanted to do the Connemara 100. And I was like, oh, you need crew and stuff like that. And Eric goes, don't worry about that. I have a camper van. I'll sort you out. I get a license and all the rest for it. But it turns out Eric got a provisional license, and then 6 months later he fecked off to Dubai, and that was the end of that. But I want to hear a good story from someone who actually got a camper van and did something with the triathlon training.
Yeah, we got a caravan first. We actually had this chat yesterday with the two people who were training, and looking back, it was actually insane. And you know, when you're in something, you don't see how mad it is. But when you when you look back, you're like, how the hell did we actually do that? I think it was 2014 was the first year we did it. We got a caravan. We had 4 kids under the age of, it would have been under the age of 10, with the youngest like 1 year old in nappies. And we loaded everybody. I think there were 6 bikes, 6 people into a Jeep and a caravan, and drove around Europe for 6 weeks. Yeah, it was totally insane. We did like 6,500 kilometers, and this is, I think, like when you say dates to people now, they don't actually, like, with technology and stuff, it's hard to visualize. But like, there's no iPads, there's no that stuff for kids in 2014. There was like Dora on loop on a little television screen behind my head everywhere I go. It was totally insane. We did it because I had qualified for European mountain running championships. Dina had qualified for European triathlon championships, and Dina was also going to do an Ironman. And when we looked at the schedule, we were going to have to fly out to Europe 3 times in 6 weeks. So then we just got this brainwave of, should we get a caravan? We could just go to Europe, drive around 6 weeks. And it was insane. It was insane.
But to be fair,
it was brilliant. It was the first time I ever went to altitude and spent like a couple of weeks at altitude over there. And it's the best result I ever had running for Ireland.
Really? Because the altitude training?
I think so, yeah. I bet people that I was the first home for Ireland that year, and I bet people that I'd never beat before, and I would 100% put it down to being at the altitude for a few weeks leading into the race.
Well, wasn't all the kids in the car trying to entertain them all? No.
Yeah, I just did it because I was trying to get away from them for a month.
Between that and Dora chasing your brain there. And Europe, in fairness, it's probably something you didn't know leaving Ireland. But when you get into Europe in terms of camper vans, and it is well set up for that kind of an active lifestyle when you do get on the road and you do make the mainland.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, we did it 2014, and we did it every year up to the pandemic. We'd probably still be doing it if that hadn't came and changed everything. We made it slightly easier than that. We got a camper van the second year. Things got a little bit easier to move around.
Were you picking different races each time, Tom, or were you picking the same races? And what were those races?
So we always ended up going back to Challenge Roth in Germany. So we would pick other smaller races to do and to kind of lead up to it as we were traveling there. But that was always kind of the
why that one? Why Challenge Roth? What's the appeal there?
We just went the first year that we ended up going, it was because we're in a triathlon club and they had secured places because it was very hard to get a place in that Ironman, and we just loved it. Loved the atmosphere. Loved the village it was set in. We just thought it was a bit crazy and a bit us. Just really small village in Bavaria where not much happens for the whole year, and then 250,000 people descend upon it for a weekend. Have
Sounds like absolute carnage.
Yeah, and it's like every single person that lives there just gets on board with this thing and gets in behind it.